Hello. Welcome, welcome to this my sepulcher, my place, my den, where I talk and I think, and I don't know. I guess I want to talk about something. This is gonna all come from like a place of pain. This is gonna be rough topics that I am going to talk hopefully about and then link them to things that hopefully are constructive and productive and good and well and hopeful. But I'm going to start near the bottom. Recently, there was somebody walked into a school and they attacked a bunch of people with a weapon, and those people died. They killed those people. They are looking for a motive. This person used to go to this school. There's a bunch of context on either side. The who, what, when, where, and the why. I'm trying not to bring up the specifics because of the point of this video, or one of the points, is that those things, while important to figuring out things like motive, they don't matter all that much. Don't get me wrong, they've got their time and place, but I think some of that I'm just going to touch on this briefly, don't go down a rabbit hole, but we get sucked into that. Think about a headline. Half the time nowadays, if it's coming from a place, you're scrolling through Google News and it shows you it's compiling news from sources, and some of those sources aren't great. They're sensationally written. Some of them are probably written not even by humans, but it's designed for you to click on it. And like a lot of things that we see, it's divisive. It wants to put a name, an identification, a label on the things that it wants you to click on. It probably feeds that same article written 3 different ways to 3 different types of people. We know that they do that with magazines. Makes all the sense that they would do it with digital media. I don't know, man. I live in America, as you can probably tell from my voice. And this happens a lot. It happens all over the world, but here, it seems, it happens all the time. This attack that just happened, like a few days ago, is going to be overshadowed by something within the next 2 weeks. That's not a threat. I don't know that. Statistically, that's a huge likelihood. I mean, our news cycle is so ravenous that a celebrity could trip over a snake in New York City or something, and that would be the talk of the town. That would be everyone's talk. The camera's picking up my microphone here. It doesn't know what to focus on. I'm not even using this one right now, so let me actually... Sweet. I get it out of the frame. But anyway, these things happen all the time, and they're terrible. They are horrible. We have lost sight, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with this, we have lost sight of just how absolutely horrible these things are. People dying, one person, thank God we have not limited, but it's rare for it to be several people coordinating on one thing, because, wow, I don't want to imagine. Do not want to imagine that. Because we'd be done. I mean, there was a guy who shot... I didn't want to bring up methods of injury here, but a guy attacked a grocery store in, I think it was New York State. It was in Buffalo. And he had just had an online community that he spoke with, and they fed him knowledge. He sought it out. That's just one dude. Imagine two focused individuals, focused, angry, emotional people, and then so on and so forth. 1 plus 1 equals 3, and then the 1 plus 1 is going to, I mean, come on. And attacks like that don't seem outside the realm of possibility as ideologies and as, we communicate. The world has become very small. You could fly somebody from one place to another and they could attack somewhere. That happens all the time. People drive from one state to the next to do something terrible. And that's nothing we can avoid right now. The world is going to become a more efficient place to travel to and fro. Air taxis are going to become, I'm not saying that that's going to facilitate violence. Hopefully there's a lot of security on those. But think about it, the world is small. And we have the technology. And while we're not willing to rid ourselves of that technology and that ease of access to huge amounts of force at the push of a button, pull of a trigger, that's a lot of power for somebody to have. And unfortunately, or for the better or the worse, history will decide that. Maybe it already has. Who knows? We have the capability. Somebody with the know-how and the motivation and the funds can accomplish this easily. Not even a lot of money. The means to do so does not cost a lot of money. But there's another reason why, this happens. And it's not something I'm speculating. It is a through line with all of these. Because they happen a lot. And so everybody notices the pattern. How do you not? The pattern doesn't get talked about, at least not in public circles. Not like it should. There's not an awareness. Every time this stuff happens, it's like it hits the news for we're mourning, and then it's nobody cares. And then it happens again for an identical reason. Yeah, different person, different state, different town, different demographic, different backstory, different motivation. But there's always a through line of pain, of discontent, of isolation, of horrible grips of depression. And half the time, would be attacker or not, we have a hard time seeing these symptoms in people at all. You can't. People who commit, they attack themselves. They end their lives. Trigger warning for that one. A little late. How often does that stuff really go noticed before it happens? Even people who give out blaring red flags as to, hey, I'm thinking about stuff, go completely unnoticed. And what's the news story? Every single time. We had no idea, dude. And if they were addicted to anything, or if they drank a lot, it was always after a long battle with addiction. Or they threw that in as a quote from the family, they struggled with drugs. And everyone's off the hook. These attacks on other people, they happen, and then the news story reads, they had a history of emotional distress or a disorder that made them very anxious, or they were very isolated, or they always had these sentiments and nobody caught it. Do you remember what I said about the world being small? About us having networks? These things are never invisible. Maybe, there's so many of us, and you can't be on everyone's friends list. You can't just Google search this stuff. But man, hardly ever did they not tell anyone about these thoughts. I just wish because we know this stuff. Like, when I've done it myself. I've seen somebody have a really bad time, and I've just been like, that's their demon. They gotta go through that. Or, like, they don't have to. I wish them to come out of it, and I will support them if they ask, but, like, I don't. I just wish there was a more permeating atmosphere of kindness and openness and empathy and compassion. We're all different. The world screws everyone over. I just wish it was more part of our culture and it was more feasible, emotionally, financially, whatever, to help. I live in a state that is the highest in poverty. I see what happens when the system doesn't really freaking work. Excuse my French. But we got about enough system to fix potholes every once in a while. We have enough of a system to collect taxes. Our cops are okay. And I really wouldn't know what our behavioral health system is like. There's a clinic in one of the bigger towns nearby. There's a few good therapists. Everyone else is a BetterHelp person. Now, I will say, sometimes all you need is somebody to talk to. You don't have to be an expert. But and the people that do these things, they don't sometimes they seek out these things, but not always. And I just wish that it was, we're getting there now, but a lot of this stuff, this is the worst. You give out cries for help and they're cryptic, and I've done it before. And then you want it to be too late. You want people to feel like they should have done something for you. And you punish them for that. It is selfish, but what more can you be? You are yourself. You should want things for yourself. And I just wish we are slanted as a society towards negativity. So hard. Man, it's a hard slant. Towards negativity. Towards, just everything about it goes towards, individuality. And we operate as a society, but it's not like that. It's not a team. It's not a family. Yeah, you can join a church and don't talk to me about churches. I live in the Bible Belt, and that stuff is weird. It's like networking. That's all it is. For some people, maybe it's a great family, and I'm sure people will comment on this video and say that the church is giving them everything they've ever had. That's fantastic. But it's not like that for people. It is not like that. The church is exclusive. And that ain't false. You can't. I've gone into churches. I'm not Christian, but I walk into churches. I've sat down for services. And it's hard to do that. And not everyone's going to do it. Very few people will. And it's going to decline. And, church has started to see it. It's for people who can dress nice. For people with families. Or people who are addicted and pushed into the church. And this recent shooting was at a Christian school, and you can definitely see the difference in the coverage of it. They already released the body cam. It happened 2 days ago, yesterday or something. They already released the body cam footage of the person dying. Just on the news on YouTube. You can just watch a cop, bam, 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 and kill him from around the corner. Yes, that person needed to be shot, but dear God, I thought that person was younger than they were, so I gave them a little more leeway. They're 28. I'm 27 right now. And I know what I should and shouldn't do. You know, prefrontal cortex and everything is there. You know, maybe it needs a little more developing. But, I mean, young. So young. 27 and 28, really. Yeah, it's up there, but it's young. Clearly still holding on to things, onto pain. And pain is like, you can implode with pain until you explode. Sometimes it happens over and over again. It's a cycle sometimes, usually, emotions do this. Up and down, up and down. And we always attach those things to it. We don't even care about the pain the person had. This person was trans. Fantastic. Who cares? Every time it's a straight white kid, everyone's like, it's one of those kids, man. It's messed up. Put him in the slammer. What? Where was the care? Where was that outpouring before it happened? It kind of goes along with your best party is the one that happens after you die. Everyone starts talking about how much they loved you. For half of those people, they never knew. And you can't talk to everyone. I just wish it wasn't like that. I try so hard to be that person. I want to be that change. I like working customer service jobs because I get to be a nice person to people. I get to look at someone who may or may not be having a good day, who maybe is having a bad time with the service I'm providing. And I can do things to alleviate their stress. I can make it up to them. I give them, even if they've had a negative experience, turn it into a positive. Give them hope for the better, It gives me a reason to make conversation with people. Otherwise, if I were just walking down the street, it's weird to make conversation with people, And there's, you always feel alone. Seldom are you actually alone. I wish more people knew that too. It's hard to grasp it. Once you feel alone, you don't want to. You almost want to push people away more, and a lot of people do. They're thorny and horny, but thorny, and it's hard to accept people into your life. There's so many reasons why you push people away, and you don't want to. You can't figure out why you do it, and then suddenly you've spent 6 months to a year or more not really having had a lot of good experiences. You've been imagine I could easily spend a year in this room working a job I don't care about, making enough money to pay rent, eat, and go on the internet and just echo chamber my bad thoughts. I've done it before. Luckily, those times turned into times that I used to improve myself as best I could, work on some things, find gaps, or just to meditate, over the long term. But this stuff happens in a cycle. Not a cycle, but it's a pattern, it's everybody is hurting. Everybody. There's no why, and we alleviate that easier by being mean to other people than by being nice to them or nice to ourselves or mean to ourselves. It's just that is how it's a cycle. It's like the water cycle. It's like mean thoughts in, mean thoughts out. I try to spread positivity. Even positive people are, it's hard to be positive all the time. But if it's got to do with someone else, Sometimes I'll find myself being real judgmental. And I walk around with a resting bitch face anyway, but I try throwing a smile. I have to think about it when I walk by someone. I'm like, I have to remember, like, and just show them that, hey, you can smile. Show your teeth. Tell me a joke. I wish people told more jokes. Imagine what could have happened to that person on the morning of they decided to attack. That could have changed that, What if it was just somebody holding the door open and saying, you look great. I like your hair. Hey, cool pants. It's hard to approach people like that, though. But really, you pull someone out of anything by doing that. I've been pulled out of a lot of bad feelings. Straight out. Just yanked me out. By people who were willing, who had a stroke of confidence to say something nice to me. When I see someone with something cool, I just say it now. I don't care. Think I'm weird. Deep down, you're going to be like, you're going to remember that. I remember almost every compliment I've ever got on something. I also remember all the judgmental crap that people say about me. Even if they don't know it. They're like, oh, hey, you lost weight. Like, I wasn't trying to. I've been trying to bulk forever. And they're like, yeah, you're losing weight. I'm like, no! And then someone will be like, man, you look huge, dude. And I'm like, that's right. That will fuel me forever. Or throw me in the dumps if it's the other way. You decide how you feel that way, We're trying to figure out reality. And it always seems dark. And then we have moments of light. It's like I sit there. And everything is trying to push me down there. And I'm trying to... That's where my goal is just to be on that uptick. I don't care how much or how little I'm progressing up. I know the downs have to happen. The lows in life have got to be there for the highs. I like being, at a good spot where I'm not at 0. Maybe I'm not at 100, but there's room for a little up and down. And sometimes you just feel like you've been sitting at 0 or close to it for way too long. Shifts in perspective are hard to come by sometimes. I just wish there was more for people who are just constantly met with ambivalence. They're not cared about. And they don't, so that it gets hard to accept care. The person that attacked these people in Tennessee texted people the day of or before and said hey, you see me on the news about to do some bad stuff my parents don't even know. I felt like that. I felt really bad. I felt like my parents they've got no clue. They, told my friends how bad I feel, kept things from friends or from family. And I couldn't tell you why. Because it was not productive. It wasn't constructive to do that. I wanted it to be mine. And sometimes I was comfortable in the pain. But man, there's so many other things to do than to project that out onto other people. And yeah, expressing it is different. You should express pain. You've got to yell sometimes. But come on, these are our lives. You are dipping your hands into where you should not have power. Come back to me. Where you don't have reign. By attacking someone with your words, with your weapons, whatever. I know that sounds cheesy, but you don't have a right to talk to someone and tell them that they're wrong about most things. Obviously there are some things. And the things that we don't like, the things we actually do shame people for, that's pretty socially acceptable, is because the things they're doing are hurting other people. And we try to use that as a justification to harm people with our words and our weapons all the time. We try to say like, ooh, they're going to hurt society by doing this. Trans people don't deserve rights because it's going to infect society with this ideology that, you can be a man or a woman. Who cares? The argument there, is trying to say that they're going to hurt people. And so we should limit them. We should hurt them with laws, words, weapons. Weapons! I know people have been attacked at gas stations for being trans. What is that for? That doesn't make any sense. The whole fight fire with fire. Have you tried caring about someone? When was the last time you were like, when was the last time you gave a shit about something rather than being like, F you. Why not be like, ask a question. Be curious. Not judgmental. Start being curious. The best, smartest people, the people who accomplish the most, they are curious. They don't discount someone because of something like that. Yeah, when it becomes organized and it looks tyrannical, and it is doing harm to people on a grand scale, yeah, that's a problem. That's not what... we know what... We're being told that certain things are that. Certain ideologies are doing that. And they're not. Like what? Islamophobia. Classic. An American classic. Being afraid of people who are devoted to their religion. Besides Christianity. That one, apparently, it's on the come up. We're having some Christian phobia. But fire with fire, right? Not working. But we tried to spin that into organized crime, terrorism. Yeah, there are some groups that are subsects of that religion, but they're not the same people. They're not the same group. You can't say, sure, there are groups of gay people who are militant, who are hostile. You can find them on Twitter. You can borderline Google that stuff. Yeah, you'll find groups. You'll find groups of just about anything with extremism in it. Probably gamers who are ready to wage violence. It's pointless. But we feed it. It's like, what, because it makes money or something? Because we drive, because negativity is just an easier way to go. You can make money with negativity. And so we pour money into it to get money back, and then hopefully we have a positive life. No, you forged a negative life for everyone, you included. Now you're fighting against it because you look all around you, and the thing you've cultivated is eating you alive. Counterculture is like being positive now. Love is all you need. Spread kindness like confetti. Be nice. Or don't say anything. Or don't do anything. Don't interact with those people. If they're hurting someone, yeah, fuck them up. But otherwise, you yourself, fuck off. The people in that school weren't hurting that person. They might have felt, they're trying to figure out a motive, and they were like, maybe resentment. Maybe they had hurt him in the past. Maybe they did something to him that really... Maybe they're the descendants thereof. Maybe they're guilty by association. Who knows? We'll never really know. That person's dead. Now everyone's dead. That's what pain does. When you hurt people, it doesn't make you feel better. It makes you think you feel better. It doesn't solve anything. You have grown hate and pain and feeling bad as a virus, And you have now, I mean, imagine the grief in that community. Yeah, do you solve anything, make anything feel better? The person also is quoted saying in like their messages that, hey, it'll make sense in the future. No, it won't. It will never make sense. Whatever ideas you had in their head, they're not communicated. You have put them in the worst possible context. You have paired them with an act that is inscrutably unforgivable. I don't know if inscrutable is the word to use there, but no, none of that will work. You're a terrorist now. You're a murderer. Cold-blooded, you have no say. Nobody will take anything you said with any grain of anything. And you furthered nothing. And you ended your own life and you ended the lives of innocent people. This applies to every time anyone has ever hurt another person with a word, a weapon, whatever. We're all hurting, and it's always the easiest way we do is young people, look at TikTok. People are trying. In the comments, you'll see some posts, people are like, this is amazing, man. That's great. Slay. You're killing it. And then other ones, it is a bastion of dark hate. I mean, the things people say, that's their inner voice. The terrible things they say on there. Even in jest. No, it's not in jest. At least, in every joke and every lie is at least an ounce of truth. And every joke and every lie, yeah, is an ounce of truth. But like for some people, for some things that you say as in jest are not so much a joke to you. Cause a lot of pain. I don't know. I hate it. I hate it so much. It makes life miserable. But I fight it by being nice. I can't always find the energy and the time to be outwardly nice, but I try not to be mean. Because it doesn't work. It doesn't help anything. This is pickle juice, by the way. This is like that, it's like a proprietary blend of pickle juice. It's just, I had a headache earlier, so. Then I got the big jug of the stuff at Walmart for like $10. The little ones are like $3. I got a gallon of it, like a gallon and a half for, I think it was just a gallon. I got it for $10. It's a steal. So now I'll be drinking that stuff forever, never have a headache in my life. And I will be able to look at more people and tell them I like their hair. Cool earrings. Nice pants. Hey, are you doing all right? You know how many people I've had come up to me and I'll just be standing. I'll be looking up and this is me. And they'll be like, hey man, you all right? And that's all it took. I loved it. It filled me with strength. Somebody cared. A stranger. It let me feel connected again. I felt like people were multidimensional once more and that they weren't just all out to get me. I wish more people could have moments like that. Because they are hard to come by, because you walk out into the world and it's like everybody wants you to know they're better than you and that they want you to trip over something really bad. Because, you know, we got this self-preservation and we like want to get ahead or something. Society and consumerism all wants us to, that's not a conspiracy, it's just like the way it is. You want to look better than someone. You know, you want to, people that are ugly and don't dress nice, we are taught to not favor that. Pretty fucking ugly, dude. There's a reason I haven't looked left or right. Because as soon as I do, it gets real bad. It gets horrible. I look 200% different. My side profile is people just don't talk to me because of it. I've got some heart of gold friends. I love you all. But most people, they steer clear, man. Because evolutionarily, this was we had some stuff going on. But I love it, because it's all you can do. And that's all you need. Some love. I'm tired.